Ipswich Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich Buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talk in Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to a Friday night press conference reaction show. That's right, the show that takes you from the week and transitions you into the weekend. It's finally here. Football will return. Days off may happen if you do not work at weekends, and time with the family can also go ahead. Well, no, I'll be spending time with my family instead of traveling up. I know some people won't like that, but hey, I'm going to be at home instead of going away from home. So welcome. I've got lots to talk about this evening. It's been a quiet few days, as you can imagine. But the very first things I have to obviously talk about are our wonderful Talk in Town YouTube members and Fifth Stand TT Ultras. Yes, the boards are a little bit out of date, I will confess. But as somebody said to me, who should be on there, Mr. Paul Kerrigan, we have had, I think it was 15 YouTube shows in about 11 days. So we have, as you can imagine, been absolutely run off our feet. But we have to give thanks to all of you, because this show would not happen without you wonderful, wonderful people. $4.99, $8.99, or $7.99. I mean, I did set the tiers and I still can't remember them. They're the two on YouTube. Or you can go to Ko-Fi and you can give whatever your budget allows you to give. It's entirely down to you. Of course, it's free. You don't have to do anything if you do not want to. But if you do want to support the platform that gives you 100% unfiltered ITFC fan opinion, the live mic is there. I hear it as you hear it, or you hear it as I hear it. And as it's gone and proved this week, it can go in any manner of directions. But it's passion and love for the football club in action. Although some things we will not tolerate. But yes, so do support the platform if you should so wish. And you get many, many extras, such as the cricket, the F1, the boxing. Talking of which, let's go ahead and bring in my counterpart. I won't play his intro because you've already seen him tonight, Mr. Matthew Phillips. Matthew, how are you?
Good, thanks. Got me Ipswich Town hat on now.
Good man, good man. I know you find it's a struggle going from one to the other, so I'm going to try and walk you through it.
I'm getting on in the years now. I'm not as sharp as I used to be.
First of all, let's jump back. Boxing, huge fight. Why should the people at home go and watch the Talking Book Knockout show that we just put together?
Yeah, we spoke about Fury White. Great fight tomorrow night on Sky, not box office, normal Sky Sports, Sky Main Event, wherever it might be. Josh Taylor versus Jack Catterall for all the belts. Every single prize you can get in the junior welterweight division. We touched a little bit on Lawrence Okoli, Sunday night on DAZN.
Fabio Wardley as well. She's his own Fabio.
Patton was in there, and that was all in 22 rapid minutes. Everybody,
absolutely. So 22 minutes of boxing goodness. Get it in your ears. Talking of other goodness, Hox says good to see some shaggers in the house. This is the top shag central, Hox. This is where it's at. All the top shaggers hang out here. I'm glad we've already broken the no swearing in 3 minutes 58 seconds.
yeah.
I think that's a bit of a record smash there. Personal best, Matt.
yeah. We might have beaten that before. I don't know.
I don't know. Well,
era maybe.
we did. Yeah, we did have Paul Lambert in charge for Aaron Jones up front for a brief period. Right, let's get some prediction league this week. One is technically already in play, but
I know I forgot to do it.
Well, I'm gonna say if you get your prediction in before 8:45, I may, and I mean I may, allow. It's currently half an hour played 0-0. If you can get it in before half time, right? It's 35 minutes played. If you can get it in before half time, not just you, Matt, those at home as well, I would allow points to stand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would allow points to stand. So week 26 in the books. Matt, you pop off and do that while I'll discuss these 4 fixtures. More Ipswich, of course, that's an away win. guaranteed. If not, don't tune into the full-time reaction show. Colchester versus Oldham. That's going to be an Oldham win because Colchester have got our B team, and our B team, as we know, when they were our A team, were shite. Oxford versus Cambridge. Cambridge. Jack Lancaster. Fine fettle of form. So get your money on hopefully Cambridge. That will help us out. And then of course you've got Norwich versus Southampton. Currently 0-0 at Carrot Top Road. Angus Gunn. We're playing Angus Gunn in goal.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's on the scene now, isn't it?
That's a shocker and a half, that is. Apparently 1-0 to Emerson Fairweather. Emerson is bringing me the news before Google is, can you believe, Matt? Google have yet to deliver me the
Emerson's
goal.
at St. Mary's, I reckon.
He must be. It's at St. Mary's. You're right. You're right. It's at St. Mary's. I often get my home and aways mixed up.
Yes.
I
missed the Dell. Remember the Dell? That was a great little stadium. It had the world's smallest nets, didn't it? So if they scored a goal, it hit the back of the advertising boards and bounced back out again.
Do you know, you can see I'm a bigger American football fan than football fan, because every time I look at a fixture, I always read it in the American way. Southampton at Norwich. That's why I said it's at Carrot Top Road. But yes, apparently it's one. Oh, it is. Southampton a goal up. There you go. Google have just woken up. Shea Adams, my lord. Right, we have got. Kay's already put his scores in. Good stuff. Cruncher leading the Knob Army along the Morecambe seafront. Well,
anyone going tomorrow, get a picture at the Eric Morecambe statue if it's near the ground. Love that.
But he wasn't a Morecambe fan.
He was Luton, wasn't he?
Yeah.
His real name was Eric Bartholomew because he was from Morecambe.
That's like us sort of adopting, or the comedian rather, adopting us and then us adopting the comedian back, isn't it?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but yeah. And of course, and going back to the boxing, Tyson Fury's hometown.
Do you know, that really sort of wound a couple of lemons up, didn't it? That the comedian at halftime. He supports Chelsea.
Oh, right,
Who gives a shit? Shut up.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad he's moved to Suffolk. He's enjoying it.
Absolutely. Every time I saw someone post he supports Chelsea, I was like, and with the Ipswich Town Football Club, if he wants to come down here and put a national spotlight on us, fucking brilliant. Bring his mates as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on. Right, let's bring in the King of the Knob Army. Here he is. And that's all you get for bad behaviour.
You still got the ump with me. He's still got the ump. 3 days on.
I have, yeah, because I have a man of principle. And this platform is a platform for all with respect at its core. If you wanted to act like you acted, there's people on Twitter who do that for free. That's
I could go to another podcast if you didn't want me on here, because they'd have me, and you know that. And I'll take a lot of my contacts with me that I use to get people on this platform. So there you go. Have it your way if you want.
Are you in talks?
Well, possibly.
You mean with the part-time crew that
you told me you were TT for life? That's what you told me.
Well, you never know. You never know.
Listen to this. Listen to this defection live on the airwaves. They couldn't pay you enough, Crunch. They really couldn't. Is that what you're saying? We love you, really, but yeah, I haven't got the hump. I can't make my mind up. I've got 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
He's still got the ump, hasn't he, Matt? He's been very quiet in the WhatsApp.
Very quiet. Yeah, it's been quiet.
Fucking busy. And I wanted to enjoy my day off yesterday.
Play the clip. Chris Boyd says, "Play the clip." Why did you start? So Wednesday's show, when you go on YouTube and watch it, why did you start the show with me ranting when you had the other guys had joined for about 10 minutes?
Nobody wants to see me ranting about my electricity going off for 10 minutes. That's what I decided. That's what I decided.
But then were getting stick. You were getting stick on the socials because you were saying that it bothered you, but you were grinning away when I was absolutely losing.
Look at him chuckling away. People.
Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny, Matt? It's always the same people offended, and the people actually who Yatesy, Mike D, and Mark Dowling, they've not got a problem. It's other people who claim that they don't watch our content.
You know,
they always appear. They always appear when something goes.
Unbelievable.
It always happens on my one day and evening off. Always. That's what I was more pissed off about. I was looking forward to my cheeseburger and my beer, and all I could taste was lemon, and I was not happy. But yes, let's move it on now. Let's move it on.
Past now. Move on.
I want to take you back in time to a time before we called our fans knobs. But I want to go. I want to go way further. I think if people say you were laughing, yeah, it's fucking live. It's live. Like, have you ever been in the middle of the street when someone starts having a go at somebody and not quite sure how to react? So you have that sort of nervous laughter about it. That's what I was on Tuesday.
The thing that makes me chuckle is these people, they've obviously never gone off on one. They're so whiter than white. They've never done anything wrong. When you've got a live mic, it's live, So there you go.
Listen, we try and provide debate about Ipswich here, but we're also an entertainment show as well.
We are. But I do still think you were speaking nonsense, but we'll move it on. I did say that. Right. I want to take you right back. Right back.
We've got a new member already. Keith, welcome to the show, Keith.
Keith Dono. Look, Keith, we love you. Keith, you have become
I had a lovely Indian out tonight before the show.
Oh,
Did you?
Yeah. King prawn boona, Matt.
Ooh,
beautiful.
That is a lovely, lovely piece of culinary stuff. King
wasn't takeaway. You actually went to Indian restaurant?
No. We didn't have a takeaway. We went in.
Nice.
You went for a full sit-down meal?
Yeah, proper sit-down meal.
Is that Cobra beer? You have the curry? Is it Cobra?
Yeah.
There's Cobra.
And the passage to India and Ipswich. Well, there's not because there is, but we'll get to it in a second. Yeah, there is. Passage to India in Ipswich, they serve king cobras. We come like in champagne
he says
bottles.
prawn in Indian food is not Indian food. And he would know.
Fair enough. Right. As I keep trying to take you right back to 2002. This is the week where, you may remember it, Chris Marsden turned into legal.
Why are we playing this? This is a shocker. This is.
Do we remember this, lads? I
walked out after this goal. I left the stadium. Look at him. Look.
Look at him going. It's like Maradona.
Sorry.
It's a bald Maradona.
It's Chris Marsden.
I've
told you this story. You speeded that up because he never run that quick, Matt. He was never that quick.
It's like Keystone Cops. Per tackling. I had flown overnight from Tenerife, landed at Heathrow. My mate drove me up to Portman Road, dropped me off for that game. People were throwing their season tickets at stewards. I'm not coming here again. I've got to say, I thought Burley should have been sacked after that game. And I thought David Moyes, then Preston manager, we should have got him in to try and keep us up. That was my take.
That was a week after we had a week away in Cyprus as well.
Yeah.
So they came back fully fit, refreshed.
Was the 6-0 to Liverpool after that game? That was the next
game.
That
was before. We'd already had
was that before the 6-0?
Yeah, we've already had that. We've already had that.
Did you stay for the entirety of that game, Rich?
No, that's only the second game I've ever left early.
That's where you should have been sacked because you had the week off. And you could have then, but Town don't do stuff that's a sensible way of doing things. But you walked out.
They subbed the keeper in that game, didn't they? They took Dudek off, didn't they? They was Dudek.
Can you imagine someone like if we'd known he'd walked out and TT was around back then, we would have called you King Knob. Only knobs walk out on their team.
If only we had a talking Town back then, it'd been great, wouldn't it?
Oh, can you remember it? Recruitment cost us, says Mike. But anyway, yes. But we're here about. Is it a happier time? Is it better to draw 0-0 at home with Cheltenham in League One or get beat 3-1 by Chris Marsden Wonder going to the Premier League? Well, I mean, it's like
you'd take the Premier League spot, wouldn't you? I think.
I think.
Adam, this is kind of right. We lost to Liverpool 5-0 on the last day of the season at Anfield.
We did.
Was you there, Rich? Was you at that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at that one.
Someone had a banner saying that it was like one of them ones. Don't worry, we're going down, but we'll come back. One of them.
Yeah.
Where's that person now? Probably still with the banner.
So I walked up with something like a roll or something and a drink up into Anfield, into the away end, and this beach ball landed straight onto my head. But the whole of the end, the Liverpool fans were going, ooh, dunk. And he bounced back up there. Hey! There's an entrance. Only time I've been to Anfield.
The Durrants. Have a horrible day that was. Happy birthday to you, Jeremy. Many happy returns. I hope you had a wonderful day yesterday, I think it was. Happy birthday. Right. It is 8:45, which means, of course, it is near enough officially the weekend. Happy weekend, my friends. This is your Away Day Beers weekend special. I have got lined up after this wonderful taste a boncho.
Oh, I had one of them Wednesday night. Very nice.
Yeah. Give us a review. What's the taste?
I'll give it to you live. What are we all drinking this evening, then, gentlemen? Matthew, fucking coffee.
Rich is on coffee.
Well, I've got work in the morning. I've got to be in at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm driving to Morecambe, so I need a clear head.
I've got to get up early. I'm going to work at 4, then I'm driving to Morecambe. Not many people say that. I'm still on the wine. Australian Shiraz, I think I've got.
Shiraz.
David's on the vodka. Good man. It is the weekend, so it would be rude not to. It would also be silly and rude not to get involved with Away Day Beers' beer club. Don't be a fool. Get Away Day Beer Club. It rules. I'm working on that one, people at home. Box to box. Think Grant Ledbetter, David Norris, Box to Box Beer Club.
I can't imagine you like those players, Martin.
No, I can't. No, but I do like Away Day Beers.
Probably been a box to box.
What box to?
Tommy Miller was box to box and scored goals. And very
Grant
good.
Ledbetter was not box to box.
No, well, he couldn't get his boots up, lead boots. Super sub. Who's a super sub in town history then?
Martin Roycer.
Martin Roycer.
Yeah, very good shout.
Noel Hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlton. Good goal, that one. That I was believing.
One effing Chambers.
One, yeah.
Oh,
£10 from Sarah Davis. Good evening. 3 points. Thank you very much, Sarah. Now, for £10, that could get you half of a Box to Box Beer Club membership. But I thank you very much for the £10 in our tin. But if you do like your beers, head to awaydaybeers.com, get involved, or just buy individual beers like people would do for us. I don't mind that. I'll put my address in the chat.
Who's on Cruncher Coaches tomorrow then? Rich, who are you taking? All the lads going? Crunch Bunch going?
No. Archie's got a big game, so he's not coming. So it's just Ollie coming. But a big shout out to Budge, who's actually going to, because I'm working. So Budge is coming with us, and he's going to pick Ollie up. So Ollie's been told you have to be up at 8:45. He's a 14-year-old. He's going to be on the Xbox probably till 1 this morning.
He won't be. Adam Proudlock, says Jordan Cansdale.
Adam Proudlock, what hair he had.
Who also, by the way, he said, thank you very much for the offer on Wednesday's show, Rich, but he's got onto the coach now.
Oh, is he? Oh, that's good. At least he's
Jeremy Lowe's stuck in 8.99.
$8.99 from the Jeremy, the legend that is Jeremy. Thank you very much. Crunch, are you stopping at Coventry on the way?
Oh, I don't know. I could do.
Is Budge taking his little hand things, the warmers? You always let me have a go on the warmers.
10 degrees at Morecambe tomorrow. It's not going to be that cold.
It'll be all right. Yeah, it'll be all right. Have you been to Morecambe before?
No, I've never been there. We've only been there once before in the FA Cup, haven't we?
That's well. The 3-0 back in the Burley era. That was their other ground, wasn't it? I think. Was it another ground?
Yeah, I think this is what's this called? The Mizuno Stadium. We'll be able to ask because we got Tom from Shrimps Online coming on soon.
He can tell us. He can fill in the gaps.
We have. Right, we have got a fourth member before that happens. We have got
get the bagpipes out.
Andrew, yes, Lewis.
Here he is.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Josh Taylor, the Tartan Tornado. That'd be a good nickname for you, Lewis.
Are you there, Lewis?
Yeah, here, sorry. I missed that. What was that, Matt?
I said you could be our Tartan Tornado, like Josh Taylor.
I'll take that.
There we go.
Barry Adams, Scotland's finest, scored, didn't he, against Norwich?
He did.
Yes,
he did. Yeah, you're finest.
He's about as Scottish as you are, Lewis.
Yeah. Who was it? Was it Tony Cascarino who played for Ireland, and it turned out he wasn't actually Irish?
He's got a great South London accent.
Yeah.
Back in his Millwall days. Yeah, he wasn't Irish at all. I love that.
Scottish Cascarino, but I never made an appearance, unfortunately.
Welcome in, Lewis. We are pleased you are with us this evening. Yeah. You've been putting some really good stuff in the chat on recent shows. I haven't actually got anything from the press conference today. I read through them. I thought, fuck it, can't be bothered. Oh. Yeah, I just thought we'd have a chat about football, about Ipswich Town, about how we're feeling, what we think about tomorrow. That's what I thought we'd do.
There was no good quotes from the manager or the players?
Not really, no.
Who did they put up for interview then? Who was up for interview?
I can't remember.
Dominic Thompson, I think.
Oh, was
Dominic, yeah, it was, yeah. And I didn't want to start anything about match ratings again, so I just thought, you know what, we'll have a chat about tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's just it seemed the safest route to go. We'll see how that pans out at 9:30 this evening. But Lewis, as I was saying, you've before I get any further with that, €5.
Look at the money rolling in tonight.
Been a while, lads. How you doing? Very well, thank you. You're going to be roughed up again tomorrow.
That's good. No, he's a legend.
Come on, you Irish.
What's funny you should say about Cascarino, Lewis, because you remember Ray Houghton played for Ireland, and he's actually Scottish.
Yes.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He was a good player as well. Would have claimed him for Scotland.
Good player.
I've done a bit more.
It was Luke Wolfenden.
Was he in the
by the
Milk
way.
Cup team, Matt, that won the Milk Cup?
Yeah, against QPR, 3-0.
Anyway, big shout out to Oxford. They got a big day tomorrow because really sad about Joey Beecham. I don't know if anyone in the chat remembers him. Really, really good player. Obviously made the move to West Ham, didn't he, Matt? Never played for him.
We'd move that. Never played.
Yeah, and then he went back to Oxford, but he passed away last week, and I think they remember him tomorrow against Cambridge. So thoughts with his family.
Yeah, only 50. Very sad.
That is,
Yeah, really sad.
And hopefully they'll do us a favour by beating Oxford, and we'll do our end. We'll do our bit for once as well. Lewis, you've been putting some good stuff in the chat recently. Talk to us. How are you feeling about Ipswich Town? 0-0 on the Tuesday night. From what I can gather, though, you're still mega positive.
Yeah. Were you angry, Lewis? Were you angry with 0-0?
He wasn't.
No. I'm positive. I just feel, as everyone had different opinions the other night, but personally, yes, frustrating, but nothing more than that. Wes Burns scores in the first 5 minutes. It was probably going to end up a similar result to last Saturday against Burton. Didn't happen. One of those nights. I absolutely, and I put this in the chat, I think, do not blame Cheltenham for the way they set up. If we were in the Premier League and we went to Anfield, we would all be celebrating and lauding. If we put 10 men behind the ball, time wasted, grinded out a 0-0, we'd all be celebrating that result. And as much as I completely acknowledge we're Ipswich Town at League One, we deserve to be where we are currently. For Cheltenham, a club the size of Cheltenham, who I remember being non-league for most of my time following football, to be in League One is a fantastic achievement, and it's quite likely they're going to stay up. So coming to a larger stadium like Portman Road, they played well, and they had a game plan, they executed it, and they nearly snatched it at the end. Look, 100% disappointed, frustrated, but nothing more than that. And I think, I also put in the chat at the time, you take the McKenna's first 10 games, we replicate that form over the next 10, and we are banging for the playoffs. Teams are dropping points. There are teams above us that will drop points against teams lower than Cheltenham, at home, away. So I think win tomorrow, get back on track, and see where it takes us. Start a new run.
Yeah, Matt, 7th in the form guide, the 6-game form guide. It's not quite enough, though, is it? Really, when you consider you're playing catch up, you need to be 7th. Is not.
No, I would agree with Luda. I was frustrated as well. But I enjoyed the game. I thought the first half was really good. And sometimes you have to get. It's just not. If we don't win a game, it's not always Ipswich's fault, right? You know, Cheltenham set up well, out of position. They had a flat back 5. And as Lee says in the chat there, streetwise, they came up as League 2 champions last season. They're no mugs. And as their manager said, what's his name, Duff. He said, look, I'm under no obligation here to stand toe-to-toe with Ipswich Town and play football against them.
Absolutely, yeah.
To them, do you know what I mean? Sometimes you've got to take it out. We played some good stuff in the first half. Really good stuff.
They played very differently to the start of the season. I went to Cheltenham. What was that? Third game of the season?
They had the man's hose, didn't they, with the old long throws?
Yeah, and then he went to Wrexham the following week. And you kind of think, if we played them after he'd gone to Wrexham, because we had a Haladki in goal, Burgess's debut or second game, alongside Wolfenden at the back. We had Scott Fraser playing right wing. Very different team to how it looks now. And they bombarded us for the last half an hour. It was just throw-in after throw-in. And you could see the goals were going to come. But I actually thought they tried to get the ball down and tried to play football as well. I mean, they couldn't get the ball off us first half. But second half, they weren't as direct, I didn't feel. And that probably means that as a team and as a club, they've evolved. And I also think with Morecambe tomorrow, I don't see that being an easy game. But we've got to win. And we've got to start that run again.
Why would it be easy? We drew 2-2 them in the Pullman Road. So why is she going to go there and roll them over?
I do think with Morecambe as well, they came up and they've got a smaller budget, I believe, than Cheltenham. They're a smaller club than Cheltenham. Yeah. And to a certain degree, although they're down there and I think they're 4th bottom at the moment, I think they would have taken that at the start of the season. To be in with a fight, I think they would have taken that. So if you compare them to some of the other clubs down there, like Doncaster, for example, I don't think they would have expected to be in that relegation fight. Crewe had a decent season last year, but they always lose players, so they're obviously down there and struggling. They're probably gone. But I think Morecambe, out of all the teams down there, they knew they were going to be in this kind of position anyway, which to a certain degree means they've got nothing to lose, which makes them quite a dangerous team to play against.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, obviously, new old manager. One of those strange situations may help the analytical driven McKenna. We do have a little bit of what they played like under Adams previously. But Rich, 0-0 at home, just, is it officially time to say Selena and Chaplin can't play in the same team?
Yeah. Who said in the chat on Wednesday's show that then? I think it was Colin.
Why can't they play in the same team? Why can't they? I don't get that.
Well, it seems
You're not
when
getting productiveness out of them. That's
I agree. Look, I'm fans of both of them, but I don't think it's really worked. And now the position we are, Martin, in the season, I think you have to be playing two up front and having more of a goal threat. We need to win games. I know we haven't let many goals in, and we're still eight clean sheets.
But just to interject there before you carry on, that word there, we have to win games, is why you had the outpouring you had on Tuesday, because it is we have to win games, and we've still got Oxford, Plymouth, Wigan, Rotherham. So Cheltenham, yes, respectful. Yes, they did streetwise, did well. But that's why you had the outpouring, I feel, on the full-time show, because that was the key word. We have to win, and we didn't. Sorry, carry on.
And you look at the game overall, I know we had 17 attempts on goal. I think only 4 of them were on target, Matt, and we didn't really... The only real save their goalkeeper had to make was the Chaplin diving header.
Oh, yeah.
Other than that, we did. But if Wesburn scores that after 5 minutes, it's a completely different game. We're probably sitting here tonight. We probably win 2 or 3-0, and we're all going to be happy. So, but you have to, when you're on top in these games, you have to take advantage of it, because we were so on top in that first half. But saying that we were so on top, we haven't missed a load of gilt-edged chances apart from the Wes Burns one. We didn't really create a lot. So going back onto that point with Selena and Chaplin, I think it's time one of them's going to have to sit on the bench. If it was me, I think Chaplin's had 2 or 3, I'd say quieter games. I wouldn't say poor games, because he's always lively and he's always buzzing around. But I think tomorrow you go in there, it's not going to be pretty. But I think it's a game where you have to play 2 strikers. You've got to have more of a goal threat. And I think now we're at the business end of the season. Draws are not a lot of good, really, are they? I know the other night, listen, like Mike Brown says, you have a point at the start of the game, so you haven't gained anything, but we haven't lost anything. But I had the Cheltenham game to win. Yeah. But I had, Lewis, I had the next 2 away games. I had a draw tomorrow and a win at Fleetwood. So going on that proviso, they've drawn at Cheltenham. If they win tomorrow and then they win next week, they'll be where I sort of thought they would be at this stage of the season.
Yeah, so it equals itself out.
There's and that's why fixtures as well, isn't there? Sunderland are playing Wigan. Plymouth. Yes. I can't remember off the top of my head who Plymouth have got. But Rotherham?
Yeah, Plymouth got Rotherham at home.
Not easy games. And I think from our point of view, we'd be quite happy if Wigan and Rotherham run away with it now, except for the Easter bank holiday weekend. But other than that, we need them to do us a bit of a favour. But as you say, win tomorrow.
MK Dons Bolton. Bolton are our town.
Yeah. But we're catching MK. But again, we've got to really look at ourselves. We've got to take care of our own business. Yes. Get those 3 points. Graham, Ipswich need a goal scoring forward. Norwood to win. Jason Clayton Morecambe probably going to do the same thing as I imagine Cheltenham. Yeah, why would if you've got the ability to do that? Why would you not?
Well, I think when you look at Morecambe in the table though, Martin, they're 21st, so in the bottom 4, and they're 2 points adrift of AFC Wimbledon. So they can't be sitting back tomorrow. That's their home game. They're going to have a go and attack, and that probably will benefit us. I would have thought there'd be a little bit more space.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Lee makes a good, interesting point, Lewis. Overall, we're on track. Let's keep the faith. I want to just pick up on that because I'm going to counter that well-reasoned, well-argued point from Lee, Lewis, and say, actually, do you know what? I think we're looking at a false position and we've got that false feeling of being on track because of the games in hand of the teams above us. If you look at the league table, we currently sit on 934. Wickham and Sheffield Wednesday both have a game in hand. In Wednesday's case, 2. If they were to get the points on that, it would look completely different. If buts and maybes. But is it a false sense of being on track because those games in hand aren't accounted yet?
Yeah, it's a really difficult one, and I absolutely don't want to sit on the fence on this one, but it's hard to call, isn't it? Without those games playing out, and I'm not sure when they play those games in hand. Yes, the table does give a false position, but without trying to sound like Kieran McKenna, we can only concentrate on us and the next game, and it is still in our hands. If we continue to pick up wins, we're going to. I mean, you listed some of the teams we're still to play: your Portsmouth, your Oxford.
So if you look at Tuesday, Lewis, you've got Oxford are playing a game. They're playing Portsmouth. You've got Sheffield Wednesday playing Burton. You expect them to win. Wickham are playing Cambridge at home. You'd expect them to win. So, like I said on Wednesday's show, Lewis, it's probably it's 3 points, but it's more like 6 or 7, realistically, that we're adrift.
Yeah, the only thing that does count in our favour, and looking at the league table, and we're not there yet, don't start quoting me. We've got to do a lot more before we can start to factor this in. But we have got a decent goal difference, haven't we, compared to some of the other clubs?
Yeah.
And as it starts to tighten up, you read out those fixtures there, and I don't disagree with what you say, but did Cambridge beat Plymouth the other day? I know Jack Lancaster scored, didn't they? They're in decent run. They've done fantastically well this season. Wickham aren't in the form that they were earlier in the season.
No, they're not.
And so even, let's say, for example, 0-0, 1-1 draw or something like that, that's dropped points, and that helps us. I really think at this stage, I agree, we can't really start to factor in other teams because they've got those games in hand. But I think if we win our next 3-4 games, we are well in the mix, regardless of whether teams pick up wins or not in their games in hand, because they're not going to win 5-6 on the bounce. And we've proven, although we can't string a win of 3 wins together, but we've proven we can go unbeaten during that period. I think you're completely right. Draws are worth nothing to us now.
Yeah.
It's got to be wins. But I think we win tomorrow, we win at Fleetwood, which won't be easy either. And I think we're going to be well in the mix. And teams they're not all going to win their games in hand. Who knows? It's all ifs, buts and maybes. But what we've done in the last 10 games is we've given us a fighting chance. And I think that's all we can do. We've had one real disappointing result, and that was the other night. But the players know that. And I think the good thing is, it's a bit of a cliche, but it's about how we bounce back from the other night. And I don't see us dropping off the way we play as a result, picking up 0-0. I think we'll still be on the front foot. I think we'll still be positive. And I agree. I think we need to play 2 strikers in most games now. I think it worked at MK Dons because we had a particular game plan for that, to play the 2 number 10s. I don't think as well what helps us is playing the 2 number 10s with Jackson as the forward. And that's nothing against Jackson. He's played really well recently. But you can see the performance of him last Saturday when he had Piggott as the foil compared to being that main striker with Chaplin and Selena buzzing behind him. And it just didn't quite click. And that's nothing against Jackson. Just doesn't suit his game. And we've seen that over the years, that Jackson playing up front as the focal point is not as effective as him playing with a partner or coming off the left.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, bounce back ability is the key word. I think Ian Dowie once coined.
Bounce back ability, did say.
Bounce back ability. Have we got that? Joe S. Matt, it's the Plymouth, Oxford, and Portsmouth games that are going to make all the difference.
I mean, they all become the cliche of 6 points, don't they? I do think like the Sheffield Wednesday loss at Hillsborough was worse than the other night. Because we did take something from the other night, and we didn't get anything against a team that's also competing for top 6 place. So I feel like, and that was probably McKenna's worst performance. Maybe Bolton away was also bad. But at least we got something out of Tuesday. I mean, everyone keeps talking like this Cheltenham game. We lost the game. We didn't lose the game. On another day, look, if buts and maybes. On another day, we could have scored 2 or 3. And as Lewis said earlier, Burns scores in the first 5 minutes. You probably look at another Burton style result. But we took something from the game. We didn't lose it. I think the Bolton and Sheffield Wednesday games are far more damaging to us in terms of you're giving 3 points to teams that are around you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just you said about if we win, we're back in the mix. I'm just thinking back to obviously Tuesday, fans react show. If we win tomorrow night, Matt, Rich, I'm probably going to be hosting a full-time show where everyone thinks we're the next UEFA Cup winning side, because that's the nature of that show. You're getting fans in that moment. You're getting the fans either we've lost or drawn, they're down here. We win, it's always with a second coming.
Yeah, what do you always say? That the 24 hours after.
24-hour period, yeah, absolutely. Everything
Yeah.
becomes more clearer after that 24 hours. But it's true, isn't it? If we win tomorrow and the table goes the way we hope it does, or even just stays the same, people are going to be back on that, not an even kill, back up here.
Yeah, I think we need a bit of middle ground, personally. You know,
why are people so invested? Like 1 minute, like you say, 1 minute 3 points, Burton, we're going up, we'll cruise it. And then you draw 0-0 with Cheltenham, and it's like the end of the world, you know.
Because that's football. Every single football team is the same. Every team is the same.
But people would say you treat a win, a loss, a draw exactly the same, don't you? You just got to keep on that even kill. I was going to, it's the hope that kills you. It's the disappointment that's going to get you. Look, football is not wrestling. Cheltenham ain't going to cut. Just because we're playing Cheltenham doesn't mean that's a guaranteed 3 points. A bit of a squash match. They come over. It's not a guaranteed 3 points, is it? They set up well. You have to give them credit.
Yeah,
they did the job they wanted to do. Fair play. It's not always because we played badly. It's because the opposition played quite well.
That's why I wasn't annoyed. Like I said on Wednesday, the other night, we didn't win the game, but like you have to look where we were when Kieran came in and where he's taken us to now. And he can only do so much. The striker situation, I think, will totally change in the summer because he doesn't know. You'll probably see tomorrow there'll be more changes up in the forward positions because he doesn't really know. And has anybody really stuck their hand up and said, play me? Apart from Jackson, he's had a couple of good games. But
You're right.
But Caden Jackson had done nothing for over a year and a half, so...
Yeah, absolutely.
He hadn't. And then everyone suddenly now, keep Jackson. Why?
He scored one goal.
Yeah. Before we bring our guest in, I would say I'd be more surprised if fans weren't as invested. Like that's what the point of football team is all about. You're right, it's not wrestling. It's not like watching Emmerdale, where you're not, if this character who, any show you'd like, the same with the boxing. You'll get some people that for Dillian White, Tyson Fury. Some will be really invested in Tyson Fury. Some will be really invested in Dillian White, and that'll be the be all and the end all.
I think that's where Yatesy. When I listen back to Yatesy, it's where he's never seen Town be successful. I think what is Curtis? Is he 24, 25? Yeah. So in his lifetime, he's never seen us do anything. So I think that's where his frustration on Tuesday come. Where I'm older, Matt's older. Listen, we've seen it all before. We win games, we lose games. So, but we do want to see some success. For the fans who haven't ever seen Town do anything apart from a playoff season under McCarthy. We're
the issue, isn't it? People want it now. They want it now.
I think that was the sixth time at Portman Road in a row that we've had a crowd over 20,000. I think the last time was about 2007-8. So we're doing something right.
I was annoyed at wasting my time.
Years.
And we've got the clean sheet record. What's this clean sheet record? Is this the one that would beat
14 minutes? 14 minutes tomorrow, yeah. It's not bad, is it?
Just quickly, social media plays a part as well, doesn't it? So if you think back if you think about the 90s when I was at school, I had a season ticket. Every year we got so close to getting up in the playoffs.
Did you have hair then, Lewis?
Had a bit more than I have now. Yeah, not much, but a bit more. But it used to be a case, if you go and watch the game, we expected to win most games. And, oh, God, I remember we lost to Crewe, didn't we? And it really derailed us getting in the playoffs. But we managed to do it. But there wasn't the opportunity to react like there is today. And there wasn't that opportunity to fuel it. So I'd go back into school on a Monday, or I'd stop off on my paper round and read the paper to kind of read the match report or whatever. But there wasn't that platform to almost sometimes fuel frustration. People come out of the pub after or come out of the ground effing and blinding, and then you'd be able to move on. And I don't remember the Town fans being as up and down during those playoff runs as we seem to be. It's that desperation for some success, something to cling on to get back to the Championship. And I still absolutely believe we'll have it. But it's a reaction, isn't it? And I felt people who I really value their opinion on the show. I felt the other night it was quite negative. But as Martin rightly said to me afterwards, it's that sitting in the pub after you've been to the game, isn't it? It's that opportunity to talk about it and express your frustration. I think it's just that. We all want the same thing. it is just that frustration when, you see it, we're building up that run, we're the team in form, and then we have a disappointing result, and everyone kind of says, same old Ipswich, flatter to deceive. But I don't think it's quite like that at the moment, and I genuinely still see us in there, and I do think people eventually, whether it's this season or next season, and I'm all for this season, I think we will get our rewards eventually. We just have to try and keep an even keel and continue to get behind the team.
Yeah.
Even kill, but this would be the third season at third tier level without a playoff appearance. You can buy into the frustration, because for so long, Rich, the boogeyman, if you like, has been Marcus Evans. That's why we're not successful. If he only put a bit more money in, if he only kept one, well, this summer we've had all our dreams come true, and yet we're still seeing the same Ipswich Town.
But it was. I can't remember who I was reading the other day. I don't know if it's Sam Morsey or I think it's Sonny Aluko saying, like, when they had that massive overhaul of 19 players,
no culture.
They had the senior players got together because there was no culture at the football club. So I know that. Look, Paul Cook, he made a right Horlicks of it. We know that now. Look, me and Matt, we were big Paul Cook fans, but looking back now, Martin was right. After Bolton, he probably should have gone. He should have actually gone at the end of last season when he said that himself, that he wasn't the owner's pick. He was a Marcus Evans pick. So, yeah, look, was it ever really going to be any different? When you look at it now, with the amount of signings they have had, have any other team, Matt, ever made that many signings and gone on and won the league? Probably not.
Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah.
So next season will probably be better because we've bedded all these players in the summer. McKenna's going to have his specific targets. I don't think we'll go crazy in the window. I think we need some quality over quantity, and I think we'll be all right next season, whatever league we're in.
Absolutely.
Can you recall at the start against Morecambe, first game of the season, obviously at home, and we didn't have Morsey then, and Lee Evans captained us.
Yeah.
And he said a week or two after the game that he actually won the toss, and he didn't realise that the team kicked towards the North Stand second half. And it was only KBY who was in the starting lineup who reminded him. And no one else had said anything because it was all their first game at Portman Road. I think that's quite a telling factor, isn't it? Just in the overhaul and the change. And that's a lot of people. And I said this at the time, which was one of the reasons why I also was behind Cook longer than quite a few people, that it's not Football Manager. They're not kind of robots or whatever. It's people uprooting, changing their lives, living out of a hotel room, trying to settle and find somewhere to live. As Kieran McKenna said he is at the moment. And then we as fans, understandably, because we're Ipswich Town and we're a big club, we hold all of our players to certain standards. But there were people who didn't quite settle in. Some people still haven't settled in, and they may not settle in. Some will fall by the wayside. But it wasn't ever going to be as simple as getting 11 robots to go out there. These are people's lives and livelihoods as well. And it's easy to overlook that.
Good point.
I mean, Connor Chaplin told us that on the show. 1 minute he's at Barnsley, next minute he's coming down here.
So you say about next season, but this season obviously is still lots to play for. Before we bring in Tom from Shrimps Online, what do we expect from our boys on tomorrow? Oh, Christ, it's tomorrow, isn't it? What do we expect from our boys tomorrow then, Matt? What do you want to see from McKenna's team?
Well, we was all disappointed in the 2-2, weren't we, at Portman Road? Kind of shot ourselves a bit in the foot, didn't we, when they went 2-1 up and we had to rely on that Norwood header for Bond to score right in the 90th minute. Look, we're a different beast now, different manager, different approach to the game. They've still got that goal threat in Stockton, haven't they? He's a good player. I would say we'll probably win 2-0. 2-0 I'm going to go with. Yeah, 2-0. 2-0.
Do you expect Morecambe to do what Cheltenham did, Rich? Or do you think Morecambe haven't got that ability to be that? Because Cheltenham, for all the stuff we're talking about, the negativity or the frustration, rather, they're draw specialists, and that's for a reason.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because obviously a new manager. I'm really hoping they don't have that new manager bounce tomorrow. It'd be interesting to get Tom's view, on what he's expecting of Morecambe tomorrow. I think it'll be a really, really tough game. I'm expecting it's going to be a real battle. I'm looking forward to actually seeing Stockton because at the start of the season, we didn't really know a lot about him, did we? No. He scored obviously at Portman Road, but we never knew that he was going to go on this run. I really want to watch him tomorrow and see what he's got, because someone's going to pick him up in the summer. You know, it could be us. You don't know. I want to see what he's all about.
Did he get both goals at Pullman Road?
He did. He got the first one where I think Martin said a leg he should have saved it, and then the second one, obviously, it was the back pass, wasn't it?
Yeah, both of them. Yeah.
So it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a real hard game tomorrow. But I'm going to go for a 1-0 Town win anyway.
A 1-0 Town win. Okie dokie. Let's bring in Tom from Shrimps Online. Tom, we're doing lots of shows together, me and you.
Good evening. Good evening, gentlemen. How are we all?
You doing?
Very well. How are you?
Excellent, thank you. Loving to hear you're all full of confidence. I love the fact that we can burst your balloon tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, Tom, I'm seeing you more times than my wife these days. We're doing.
Me too. The same. I'm newly married as well.
Oh, yeah, even worse then. But this is our fourth show. We did the Wednesday podcast together, the away days, and then we're doing obviously the last.
I'll tell you what, Tom is so committed to Morecambe. I watched his show with Matt. Now, where were you? You were on your honeymoon, and you actually done a show, didn't you?
I was actually, yeah. I just, Matt's a champion. I didn't want to, yeah. I've got an understanding why. She's a keeper, shall we say.
Where was the honeymoon? Where did you go?
I did a trek to Machu Picchu. I live in Peru. Just about to move back, actually.
Wow.
And I've been out here 5 years, so it was a nice jungle trek in the middle of the jungle. So I was calling Matt at Jills in the Blood from Cusco, 4,000 meters high.
Wow. Well,
you mean you don't get in your car and drive to games?
Sorry, mate, I couldn't hear that.
You need to get in your car and you need to drive to games, and you need to support your team.
I know.
Don't worry, it's an in-joke.
Are you in Peru this evening, or are you back in Morecambe?
I'm back in Morecambe next week for the first time in 4 years.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Well, committed on another continent, but still doing a Morecambe show. It's great.
Oh, love it, mate. Love it.
Oh, last time I saw you, Tom, you were scratching your head. You were in a bit of a stunned
I've lost some hair.
Yeah, obviously. The news had just broke that your manager had been given the chance to talk to St Mirren. He's now gone. He's now your ex-manager. You've now got a new old manager. Tell us all who's now in charge and what can we expect from Morecambe, do you think, based on history?
What a week, gentlemen. What a week. Like that Stephen Robinson thing just came out the blue for everyone. I think it came out the blue for Stephen Robinson, to be honest. I think St Mirren acted quickly, and they've got some compensation for their manager going off, I think it's to Aberdeen. And then they've just gone, right, let's throw money at Stephen Robinson. So he was, the general consensus, just to give you a feel, was Stephen Robinson, Judas, Rat, all these things instantly, because he was very much into a 3-year project. Personally speaking, I like to be, I think you gentlemen were talking a little bit more middle ground. I think at the end of the day, it's his livelihood. So I think we don't always know all the facts, right? So I think he was fully committed. And I think someone mentioned earlier on, I forget who, would Morecambe have taken this position at the start of the season? For me, absolutely. We're still within a really good shout of staying in the division. You guys are whinging on about changing players. We've had 25 players, so we're in the same boat. We've had a new manager as well, similar to you guys. So all the same things, but we don't have monopoly money just to throw at it. We've got to really compete with League Two and National League players. So I don't. Your tears don't wash them, I'm afraid. And it's an embarrassment of riches when you've got like Sid Chaplin. You're saying, "Oh, I don't think our number 10 Chaplin can get in." You can't get Piggott in. We'll have any of these guys in our side, but. Bringing it back on track, I've got Derek Adams. I'm a massive Derek Adams fan. Didn't hold anything against him when he decided to go to Bradford, because he'd taken us literally from bottom of League Two in November 2019 to fourth in League Two to then take us to promotion. We were very unlucky not to go automatically up. So Derek Adams welcome with open arms, and it's just perfect timing. Bradford can't see what a great manager is. So
why did he go? Why did he go to Bradford, Tom?
I think it's probably, you look, without being disrespectful to my own club, it's like our stadium's 6,000. You know, at the time we're averaging 2,000. He'd not even got the connection with the fans. Don't forget, he'd only had half a season with fans because of the COVID year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't think he expected. I mean, this isn't going to impress you guys, but for example, our average attendances in the 2019 season, the one before COVID, was 2,200, and we sold 2,600 season tickets, and we're averaging about 4,500. So I don't think there's people that said we'll never sell 2,000 season tickets. Now I'm probably boring you guys to death by hearing that, because you're like, that's just nothing. But for us, that kind of growth is massive. If you were to get 40,000 next week, you'd be like, that's massive. So I don't think Derek Adams expected us to be as ambitious. We've hired a general manager. We brought in a head of recruitment. We headhunted Martin Foyle from Northampton. So the club has been moving, because Derek Adams came in and he said, we beat Cheltenham Town away first game of the season, and Cheltenham had been on a run. I know you've been referencing Michael Duff. Michael Duff is a terrific manager, by the way, fantastic tactician. And we beat them on their own path. And Derek Adams said, we need to get rid of this little old Morecambe tag. Get rid of it now. We're not little old Morecambe. We're Morecambe, and we're 11 men versus 11, just like we will be tomorrow. And we don't care who you are. Tomorrow's going to be bouncing as well, because we never got to thank Derek Adams for the work he did last year. So we're hoping to score within 13 minutes, isn't it?
Touche.
I think it's really interesting you say that, though, because from my perspective, obviously the outside looking in, Derek Adams got you promoted from League Two, did a fantastic job. Then he's gone to a bigger club, as you explained, in Bradford. But they were in League Two rather than having a crack at League One with Morecambe. Now, there's normally two reasons why a manager would go to a club division below, either for money or because he doesn't back himself to keep Morecambe up and expects to probably be in League One with Bradford next year rather than in League One with Morecambe. So obviously he went to Bradford, it didn't work out. So I thought you were going to come on and go, I'm not sure about him coming back, because to a certain degree he didn't back himself in the summer to keep you up, because he chose to continue to stay in League Two. So I thought you were going to say, not sure about this, because, as I say, didn't back himself to keep you up then. Why is he going to back himself to keep you up now? But like I say, it's really interesting to hear you say that.
Well, I think
sounds like regardless of what happens, you've got the infrastructure in place now that you didn't necessarily have. So even if the worst were to happen, you'd be in a stronger position than you've ever been in League Two. Hopefully you won't go down, and after tomorrow, hope you stay up and pick up the points you need. But yeah, like I say, I just found it quite interesting, because I think the same thing happened with Luton. They lost Nathan Jones to Stoke, didn't they?
They did.
Got promoted. That didn't work out. He'd gone back. So interesting take, and it just kind of shows what I know from the outside looking in.
I think you could flip it around, though, because you could say that maybe he felt confident keeping Morecambe in League One. Maybe or maybe not. We don't know. We're not in his head. But maybe he thought, actually, I backed myself to go and get Bradford up again. I've done this. I've done it with Plymouth. I've done it with Morecambe. And as I'll genuinely be very delighted if we could be a sustainable League One club. That's actually our vision. Yeah. Whereas Bradford, you could look at it from the outside in, that it's potentially a bit of a sleeping giant, like a Bolton Wanderers that's sitting there. Who else could you say? Yeah, essentially like a Bradford, just sitting there with selling 15,000 season tickets or whatever it is. That if he gets them up, they get more backing. They could be more like a championship side. So if he was to ride through, like potentially Ian Evatt will do with Bolton, if he was to take them up, he's taken them through from being a League Two side to being the king at a championship side. So maybe he thinks that actually I can go and do two promotions. The one that I could, because he went to Plymouth, got them promoted, was Mr. Hero, and then it all went sour in League One. So maybe he's thinking with a learning from those experiences. But the other thing you've got to consider is who else is going to come in at this late stage that is qualified to do it. He's got a free hit, because if we get relegated, it's Stephen Robinson's fault to the fans. If he stays up, if he stays up, it's his doing. So people aren't going to count that relegation against his CV, I don't think. And as you said, is if we were to go down, which I don't think we will, then we'll have another crack with Derek Adams in League Two.
Has he gone down well with everyone, Tom? Like him coming back to the club, or is it a bit sort of a divide with the fan base?
There are one or two that are a bit stubborn with it, but wins change it all. You know, when we score that goal in the 13th minute tomorrow, the resume will be rocking. The resume will be rocking. So now there's a natural feeling of rejection to some people. They're like, well, what's wrong with us? But I think on the whole, people are really excited for it. I don't actually. Well, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to take that back. I think there were some people that had an element of reservation about Stephen Robinson. They were saying, well, he's doing okay, but he's not. We're not getting wins. For example, I know I'm going to Martin mute your headphones for a second, but expected goals the last 4 games. I've had Morecambe fans just going crazy at me for saying this, but Rotherham, anyone that saw the Rotherham game, we battered Rotherham. We had 6 shots on target to 4. How we did not score, I don't know. Rotherham fans said that we were the best side that's come to their stadium on Tuesday.
Wow.
But we haven't scored.
Paul Warren was really complimentary as well, wasn't he, of how you played? I saw that.
Yeah.
Good seeing
Yeah, and we've beat Bolton. We absolutely this Bolton side. You see the signings they've made in January, and they've brought in terrific players.
They have,
and
yeah.
We've battered them at home. We should have won. Somehow we conceded against 10 men. That's 3 points for my reckoning. I think a very fair return for our last 4 games would be 7 points. We've got 2.
Yeah.
So our whole thing but all of that data for me kind of shifts on its head now that we've got a new manager. We've had 3. This will be the 3rd different manager in 3 games. So me writing my preview tonight till the early hours, I'm struggling to pick a lineup really. I'm trying to second guess our old new manager.
On that note, you said about the high turnover of players. Sorry, Matt. You said about the high turnover of players. Are there going to be many who are likely to be in the starting lineup who played under Adams last year?
There should be a few, not loads. Cole Stockton was his player. There would be potentially your ex-player Toombs in centre of the park, Tamani.
Yeah.
Shane McLaughlin will be interesting because he's been one of our best players this season. But general consensus, I'm not sure if he'll be a Derek Adams player. So it'll be interesting to see whether he starts in tomorrow. Who else are we talking? I'm losing my mind here. Who else? Potentially Aaron Wildig. There was Adam Phillips. Adam Phillips and Aaron Wildig last year formed a really good partnership in attacking midfield. The one thing I would say, just to give you a stylistic idea of how I see the game playing out, you guys are absolute possession monkeys under McKenna, right? Mm-hmm. And I noticed that you actually have more possession than MK Dons, which just knocked me back. And I noticed you've actually got the highest possession in the league now, and you've got highest with MK Dons, perhaps the highest passing stats, highest through balls, highest final balls to thirds. Under Derek Adams, we had quite a different style before. We had let's soak up the pressure and allow them to take pop shots, but not get too close to our goal. Now, I know goals has been something that you've struggled with. You've been playing really well, doing all the right things, but perhaps not underperforming your XG, Martin.
Nonsense! Get it in the bin.
So I'd be interested to see how he does it. But I hope after he's playing pretty well, it's tweaks rather than revolution. I think he's humble and smart enough to know that we're not actually far away from being a good side. So I would hope that I could actually see us being maybe using Cole as a focal point and putting blocks in front of you and just letting you guys have the ball and then just take it from there and look to break on you. Cole's scored the most goals from carries in the whole of the EFL. He scored 5 goals. He saw two of them on the opening day. I mean, the first goal, we just took the ball and just went, and he's quite happy doing that. So,
I was going to say, what's his strengths, Tom? Why is he having such a breakout season for Morecambe this season? Because he's not a name that most fans would know, I guess.
He would So this is the thing. He was integral to our promotion season last year, and he ended up with 13 goals. But it was a real purple patch at the end of the season. He scored 6 in 8 at the back end of the season. Yeah, where he just thought, you know what, I'm going to score some goals here. A lot of the attention was on Carlos Mendes Gomez, who went to Luton with Nathan Jones. He was getting most of the goals, but then all of a sudden, last season it felt like he needed 2 or 3 chances. You know, the old Andy Cole that needed 2 or 3 chances. He'll score a few, but he needed a few chances to get the goal.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, something just clicked in him. He's just carried it through. And the exciting thing from a Cole perspective is that early on in the season, he wasn't scoring. Well, he was barely scoring tap-ins. It was all from like 20, 30, halfway halfway line. And then all of a sudden...
The Fleetwood goal, Tom, was a great goal, wasn't it? In the last minute to win the game.
Is that the one that came second
to that? I was just squealing like a demented.
Oh, that was the one where your fans were begging Norwich fans to vote for the goal, wasn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's bad move.
Absolutely. Dirty, but dirty. But yeah, no. Back to the strengths of Cole. He's strong. He's willing to take on a shot, and his link-up play is great. Not fantastic in the air, so don't confuse him for a target man that's going to head lots of stuff. But he's just really good at getting players into play, back to goal, laying the ball off. But he can play on his own up front quite comfortably, and he's dangerous.
What did like Morecambe and teams of that ilk make of like Ipswich, Portsmouth, Sunderland? Oh, we shouldn't be in League One. We should be in the Championship. This kind of entitlement that fans bring to the table a little bit. Do you see a bit of disdain in that, or we've got this abundance of riches yet we're underperforming?
It's a good question. I think it's kind of funny sometimes just to watch from outside because we know what we are. Like you guys moan about, in the deepest, darkest elms of League One, and this is our highest ever place. So it's like for us, it's like fantastic to play Ipswich, whereas you guys are depressed about it. We love the idea of going to Hillsborough and all this kind of stuff. But I guess the one thing, just to put some perspective amongst you guys, you look at the outside of the playoffs, you're like, you guys are going to do it, but Bolton are going to have the same conversation. Sheffield Wednesday have started to put some form together. MK Dons, play some fantastic football. There's enough sides that are of decent ilk that no one's got this God-given right to do it. And as you said, forming a squad, I think you have 19 new players, something like that at the start of the season. That's not easy to get a culture together of winning. You've changed managers, so it's not an easy thing to go and get promoted. There'll be a lot of other sides that can do it. Wickham under Ainsworth, another good side. There's just lots of good sides in the division. So in answer to your question, for us, it's fantastic to go to a place like Portman Road and play you guys. But it is quite funny to see whinge. I think there was that video on YouTube this week that caught a bit of one of your fans was going on about, who was it? Was it Norwood or I forget? Was saying, "I hope you're going to play for Ipswich." Oh, Piggott, that's it. So Piggott.
Colin's in the chat.
Well, hi, Colin. Hi, Colin.
We'll move on. John, on Rovers vlogs, he's asked us a couple of times. I'm going to absolutely butcher the pronunciation, but thoughts on Jonah
Younger.
Oyunga, thank you. This season, what do you think about him?
I love Jonah Younger. I don't know if you guys remember, but he came off the bench at Ipswich. I was saying to you, Martin, on one of the other shows. You were. He actually picked up 3 bookings. He made you guys pick up 3 bookings by picking up the ball and kind of accelerating, and you guys left your foot in. So he's got that turn of like acceleration from cold, and he's a big guy as well, and he's got a trick to him. So be interesting to see what Derek Adams makes of him. He was very much a project player for Stephen Robinson, and he's one that kind of divides the fans sometimes because he can look a little bit lethargic in his kind of tracking and this kind of stuff, which I personally am a massive fan. He's exactly the type of players we need to be signing. Players that perhaps, have got some element of a defect in the game that we can work towards fixing, and then we'll go on to bigger things. There's no point signing a lot of players that are going to be very kind of high-level League 2, lower League 1, and that's the ceiling. We want to be signing players that perhaps can unlock something a bit more, but they need a bit of confidence or a bit of backing from a manager. But Jonah has got all the attributes to be a championship player for me.
You still got, as Steve mentioned it in our comments earlier, you still got Diagaraga? Was that
he's in midfield? Yeah, he's in midfield.
Toombs, yeah.
Yeah, McCarthy brought him in, didn't he, from Leeds on loan? Is that right?
Yeah, had a hamstring injury.
Yeah,
unbelievable player. He's just a legend. He's just a great leader. He's a leader that he actually said at the start of last year that we're going to do something special this year with this group. And we, well, yeah, okay. But and he said at the end of the year, I told you guys, we've got a special group here. He's apparently a fantastic voice in the dressing room, really great guy. And he's got magic legs. Like, he just can dance with the ball. Like, sometimes you get into spaces and he just seems to find space just to do something a little bit special, like can pirouette with the ball. So we love Toombs. We want him to love us more than he loves Brentford one day, maybe. He's hugely popular at Brentford.
Tom, last two questions before I let you get back to your wonderful life in Peru. One, Matt Stannard asked, who do you see as a threat in our squad?
Good question.
Well, I would have said Connor Chaplin, but obviously he's not from the games I've seen. I mean, who do you think? Because Wes Burns seems to be in a lot of form at the moment. Can open up things, but from what I understand, listening to yourself, Martin, and speaking to other Town fans, is that McKenna has a habit of kind of mixing it up. So we don't necessarily know what forward line he'll play, and he'll adapt to Morecambe. He seems to be very humble enough to say, let's not just rock up to Morecambe and just do our thing. We're going to examine their weaknesses and try and pick at them. So
absolutely.
And it's an embarrassment of riches you've got across your whole squad. In terms of the first game, the two players that stood out for me was Charlie Chaplin, Connor Chaplin, CC's Connor Chaplin, and Evans. Is Evans injured?
He is, for a few
He's
weeks. Won't need surgery, but he is out with a knee injury. Yeah.
And what's happened to Macaulay Bonne? Is he dropped off? Is he
just dropped off form? Not scored in 19 games. I think, is it now, Rich?
One in 19.
1 in 19. Jesus. So
intimidated by Cole Stockton.
Well, I think we will be a little bit. He is a good player. What? Last question then, before I let you go. What is the score going to be tomorrow then, Tom? Because we're all going to probably go for an away win. So let's get a little bit of the other side. What do you think the score is going to be tomorrow?
2-1 Morecambe. Normally I don't go for the win, but 2-1 Morecambe. I think we're just going to let you have the ball, and then we're going to get a couple of lucky luck's going to turn our way tomorrow. New manager, and maybe you'll take the lead. And then we're going to come back, and you're going to travel in numbers. I presume you sold out of you tomorrow?
No, nearly 1,300.
Yeah. So the atmosphere will be rocking tomorrow, and it's Derek Adams' homecoming. So, I feel that the fans are going to be right behind him, and we've got nothing to lose because, again, people are going to say Ipswich home away win. So it's what we thrive in. People wrote us off last year. And
if we take the lead tomorrow, Tom, and you beat us 2-1, we're just going to be crestfallen. We're on the floor.
I was going to say, if your prediction's right, I think we can safely say we'll be seeing you next season.
Yeah,
I think that'll probably
that'll be fine with me. That's fine with me. In Peru, I was very envious for our fans visiting Portman Road. So that'd be fine. I have been to Portman Road before.
Very quick question for you, Tom. When we played you in the Cup, about 2000, 3-0.
2001, 2003?
Yeah, were you in a different stadium then?
Yes.
We were in 2001, we
Even
were
I know that.
both, Christie Park we're at, and it was actually quite a groundbreaking moment for us, because at the time you were in the Premier League or Premiership with Marcus Stewart banging them in. Was it Craig Burley manager?
George
Burley. I'm getting all the names wrong tonight.
It's his nephew.
Right.
It's the altitude. It was a real, we'd won 3 games to get there, and we packed out Christie Park, and it was a magical day. We lost 3-0. It was one of those ones where I was saying the analogy is, if you guys got to into Europe and you lost to Bayern Munich away, you're not gonna get overly anxious about it. That was that kind of feel to us, that it was a bit of a party atmosphere, and it allowed us to get on the map and build to other things and think, you know what, we like this. And we actually beat Cambridge in the round before in League 2, and now we're in the same league as you guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we always say this, you're a type of club that has come from non-league, progressed through the divisions, while we've dropped down the divisions and we've met in the middle. Yeah, it's a fair play to you. Yeah, it's great.
So personally, Tom, I hope I never have to do a show with you ever again.
Feelings not mutual. We'll see you next season.
I sincerely hope not. But it's always a pleasure doing a show with you. Tom, we love you, but don't bring expected goals back to my door ever again. All right? I've let it
13 minutes. On 13 minutes, lucky for some.
Yeah. Oh, it's in the script, isn't it? You know,
Yeah,
probably be a
thanks,
scruffy own goal as well.
Yeah, own goal.
But Tom, all the best, and you are an absolute legend. We love you.
All the best, Tom.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. It's
Thank
our pleasure.
you,
Look
mate.
after yourself. Stay well. Stay well. Tom, he's a great guy, Tom. I do love every.
Who can believe it? He
I
must
You've
be
been
the only
moonlighting.
fan
Scott.
of
Where have
work.
you been moonlighting this week then with Tom? Tell us.
That little show.
We did. He was on the away day guide this week.
Yeah.
The week's just merged to one. I'm going to be brutally honest.
You've been quiet, haven't you? As we know. You've been very quiet this week.
Well, it's also half term, so the one that must be obeyed who isn't very well is also at home.
Oh, right,
So
okay.
I'm having to juggle multiple different things.
We
But
had
the
after the
cabinet's
Essex
gone
last
up
week.
yet?
One at a time, gentlemen.
Are the cabinets up yet?
No. And what did you ask, Mr. Phillips?
I said we had half term in Essex last week. What's going on?
Yeah, well, they always make sure the riff-raff go first, don't they?
Yeah. Okay.
Don't they? Hey, the Daily Mirror had a nuclear sort of chart, and Chelmsford was
We're all wiped out. We're all wiped. Me, Rich, and you are wiped out. I don't know about you, Lewis. Where are you based?
Colchester.
Oh, you're gone. You're gone with us.
Yeah, is that the oldest town in England?
Yes.
Yeah, oldest recorded town.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Oldest recorded town. You got Luke Chambers and Freddie Sears playing for you.
We're all in the target that if London got nuclear bombed by Putin, we'd all be wiped.
Okay.
So
Mike D.
carrying our northern fans to take on Talking Town when we go.
That's what I was thinking. I knew I'd seen him somewhere. Dead ringer for Martin Lewis. What are they asking about my energy price deals? Absolutely. Right. Teams. We've got 3 teams for once. Here we go. Oh, no, I've only got 2.
I've rushed
I'll
this
find
team
the
now.
third. I'll find the third. Matt, here's your 11. Is this your 11? No, it's not.
No.
I thought you were 11. Whose 11 is this? Cat? No, that's.
That'd be Richie's 11. That.
Oh, hang on. To bring Mr.
19.
Lewis in, I had to go to a different show. Let me just go back. Here we go. This is your 11. Boom.
That's mine. I hastily did this in the titles. Walton in goal. It's very small writing. Walton in goal. The usual 3, JD and Wolfie in the fridge. That's the 3, isn't it? Now I'm bringing Backinson back into the fold. Better than Carroll. He don't pass backwards for one. Moulsey the Marauder. Thompson on the left. Burns on the right. Norwood goes up top. I feel that is a game for him. You've got Stockton one end. Let's have Norwood the other.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing what Rich doesn't want to see. I've got Selena on one side and Chaplin on the other.
Okay, as the counter arguments to what we were talking about earlier, what do you think Selena and Chaplin bring as the pair when they play on the same pitch together?
I thought they had good games the other night. Very unlucky not to score. We started seeing Selena shooting from range, which is great because he scored all those worldies in his first spell. Chaplin, as Rich said earlier, very unlucky not to score that diving header. I feel like they had good games. It just happened to be that Cheltenham was on form that night. They had good defensive tactics. We drew 0-0. On another occasion, they might have scored goals both. So why not keep the quality in? And people look. I was saying that Selena should go back to Dijon, but people keep telling me he's quality, so I've put him in the team. There you go.
All right, no, perfectly fine. Okay, out of 10, Lewis, what do you think of that team there from Mr. Phillips?
You can give that about an 8 in you, Lewis. I can tell.
It's not too dissimilar to mine. I think we need to go with 2 up front and 1 number 10, and that's what I've gone with. So I think against some of the tougher games we've got against teams up with us, they're all tough. I get that. I'd possibly play 2 number 10s, but I think we need 2 strikers, 1 in behind and really take it to them, particularly after what was just said about, kind of the possession, us having a lot of the ball. I think we need to be direct. I think we need 2 up front. But other than that, yeah, solid. And as you say,
All right.
I've got a great disagree in the
take
comments there.
themselves.
Chaplin didn't get in the game. He nearly scored a goal. I can say he wasn't in the game.
All right. So on to this one, which I think is your team, Lewis. So you wanted 2 up front.
Okay.
You've got 2 up top.
That's mine.
Oh, is it yours? Sorry, Rich. Go on.
Conscious.
Sorry, go on, Rich. Explain your thinking. Norwood and Bond. Sorry.
Well, we got same back 3. I know Thompson got taken off the other night.
He did.
I
KV
don't know if he's got an injury, possibly, but he still stays in the team for me. Backinson, obviously, Matt had him in, and it's got to be tomorrow. It's going to be, roll your sleeves up, get stuck in. It's time for the Bash brothers to return to bash up Morecambe.
It's a good front line. Yeah, I like it.
This should be Norwood's type of game.
Yeah.
You know, he's used to these pitches, Matt, you know,
Yeah.
in the non-league when he was at Tranmere as well, when he was at Forest Green. So that's why he comes in, and he's been a bit out of form off the bench, and he's not really impressed. I did tell him to get in on Wednesday, so hopefully he's listening and hopefully he scores and he comes and gives me the finger.
And of course, Norwood and Bond linked up nicely on the opening day, didn't they? It was the Norwood header to Bond to get the equaliser.
Got to be two up top tomorrow. Got to be two up front.
You need the presence of Backinson away from home tomorrow. You can't be having Carroll being a bit lightweight, losing the ball, doesn't track back, passing backwards. We don't need that tomorrow. The physical presence of Backinson, that's what you need. That's what we saw.
Hang on, can you clip that up? The physical presence of Backinson.
He's done it again.
Yeah, you all slagged him. They all slagged him, Lewis, after he scored at Doncaster.
We didn't slag him after he scored. We slagged you, who said he brought a physical presence to the team.
Newsflash, he did.
Fuck off, he did.
Well,
hang on, Matt. You sat next to me at MK when he got.
I was going to say that.
When he had them three players around him and he just lost the ball, he nearly cost us a goal there. And he was not very happy then. So
that did annoy me, but that was just one moment.
He's no Gerrine indoor, is he? Let's be honest. You know, big bad Gerrine.
He has got those hallmarks though of an indoor. I think.
Norwich 2-0 down.
There you go.
Yes,
yes, I predicted 2-0 in the prediction league.
Give me them points, Martin.
Hang on. But did you forget to do it? He should only get half points.
No, I've gone with the regulations that Martin said.
If you forget to do the Super Six, you can't come in after 30 minutes and say.
He said
because that's gambling, Rich. This is not Super Six, is it? I'm not regulated by the gambling.
I'm not having it. This is not like
take it up with the fucking complaints department that are busy currently dealing with your bullshit from Tuesday. So they might get back to you in a few months.
Oh, come on. Move on.
Yeah. Right. This is your team, Lewis. This is yours. Boom. Talk us through it, my man.
What the hell? Penny?
He's got Matt Penny in.
Yes.
Bear with me, Matt.
I
think Thompson picked up a knock the other night. I think he overstretched when he slipped.
Yeah.
And so then for me, it was a toss-up between KVY or Penny. And yeah, I think it's time for Penny to be given an opportunity.
Fair enough.
I wasn't that impressed with KVY at AFC Wimbledon. Obviously, he picked up a red card. I thought he looked a bit dodgy. Even before that, he didn't do much the other night. And I just think that Matt Penny has definitely got his defensive frailties, and a lot of people have their own opinion on that. But I actually think going forward, he offers something. But if fit, I would stick with Thompson. So there is that. But I genuinely think he pulled up when he slipped at the start of the second half the other night. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's out.
Yeah.
And then for me, I wanted to kind of go back to last Saturday in Burton and keep that kind of similar front three of Pigott, bit of a batter and ram. Jackson can play slightly off the left. Aluko can move over to the right if required. And with Norwood to come on. I do definitely think it's a game for Norwood, so maybe I'm contradicting myself. But a bit of a scrap, bit of a battle. Pigott to hold it up. And
you should have gone. You should have gone full on Paul Lambert there, Jackson and Norwood up top.
Yeah, go back to the old days. I was going to say one thing earlier. You know, we were talking about sort of third season and not making the playoffs. Isn't it nice to be at the end of February and actually still have a chance of playoffs rather than being on that downward trajectory that we've been in the last 2 years? That struck me earlier. But yeah, I think I think Selena and Chaplin both contributed the other night. I think they both play a big part. But if you go back to last Saturday, that was the front three, so why not go with that again? It got us 3 goals against Burton.
Apparently, newsflash, Joe Pigott's just pressed his T-shirt he's going to wear under his shirt tomorrow with the goat's face on it.
Good, man. To be fair, Colin, did offer some strong words of encouragement earlier in the season, to Joe. But again, passion in action. Score predictions then. Well-reasoned arguments there, Lewis. I do like it. If it was a debate, you'd take it because you definitely convinced me that was the better team to go for.
I so hope Backinson scores tomorrow.
What, with Matt Penny in the team? Are you agreeing with him? Matt Stannard said we might as well not travel. I'd be very surprised, Lewis. I'd be very surprised if Thompson was out and Penny would jump ahead of KVY, who came on. I thought he'd done all right last Tuesday when he came on.
He did.
But then are you going by what we think McKenna's going to pick or what you personally would pick?
Who knows?
Because
Yeah.
personally, for me, I think, based on what I've seen, and I was at Wickham and I actually thought KBY had a really
Matt
good
Penny's
game
done
that
at
night.
town. Matt Penny in the bin in the summer. He'll be off.
I think he offers more going forward than any of the other left backs.
You offer
Or left
such
backs.
encouragement, balanced, supportive views of the players there, Rich. You always do. That's one thing I'd often say about you. Matt Penny in the bin after what? 7 months of a season?
He'll
You can
play
go, you can go with Bailey Clements down to Stevenage. Find a level.
That's a bit harsh. Right, score. Even the dogs are a bit upset.
Yeah.
Score prediction then. Matt, you can go first.
Well, I've put 2-0 in the old prediction league, so I'm going to go with that. We need to be beating more. If we've got aspirations of the playoffs and hitting that top 6, we've got to win this game tomorrow. Regardless of how much we like Tom and the argument he put up for us, we've got to win tomorrow. I think 2-0 is probably a realistic scoreline.
Okay. Rich?
I said 1-0 earlier. It's going to be a scrap, but I think defensively we are watertight. So touch wood, it'll be another clean sheet.
Yeah.
And I think we might nick a goal. We might even score from a corner tomorrow. I think we might nick a goal from a corner.
Who's going to take the corners?
Good question.
Lena, if he's playing.
Yeah. It'll be
Good
backing some little toe poke.
You don't get physical players on corners, Matt. That just doesn't work.
He'll be there. Don't you worry about that.
Lewis, score prediction, please.
1-0, Matt Penny, run over to Cruncher with a big emoji t-shirt. And yeah, good night.
Colin wants me to know why Luco's not in my team. Luco's not in my team, Colin, because he doesn't produce enough. He might be tidy on the ball and a really good footballer. Listen, I'm not knocking him. He's probably our most technical player that we've got.
And consistent.
This stage of the season, we need people producing. We want assists. We want goals. He's not scored since Portsmouth away, which was when? Was that October?
October.
Yeah.
It feels like he's
When was his last assist? When was his last assist?
Oh, I don't know, but it must be.
Was it the Crew game when he dribbled along the byline and they scored?
Yes,
it
was.
So when was that? That was before Christmas.
Yeah, one of Cook's last games.
Neil Perks stuck £2.50. You're
Good
only
man,
money time, Martin. It's all
we love you, Neil. We love you. We love you very much. But
Luco's better at Portman Road, I think. But he has scored all his goals away from home.
Yeah.
He seems to have more impact at Portman Road, I think. That's the impression I get.
Matt, would you sign a Luco for another year?
Yeah, we've had this debate before. I probably would, I probably would, because I feel like he brings experience. That's not 10 a penny, is it? Experience when you've been in the Premier League. And I feel maybe he could be an option from the bench next season, depending how his legs are. But yeah, probably would, for another year, maybe, yeah.
I saw a tweet. I think it might have even been to you, Rich, from Wes Burns' dad. He really rates Luco, doesn't he?
He's a good footballer. He's a good footballer. Like Colin, but Colin says, why does John Walk pick him? John Walk's never been a manager, though, Colin.
True.
He doesn't pick the team. Walkie doesn't pick the team on a Thursday night when he's on Radio Suffolk with Graham Mack. Kieran's the manager. He sees him in training. And if Luco's in the 11 tomorrow, yeah, fair enough. But I just think
he recognises quality, though, don't they? You know what I mean? Oh, look, Matt Stanley stuck £2 in. Look.
And
he scores.
Well, come on, Penny, don't let me down.
I'll match that if Matt Penny scores. I'll match that.
I'll dump 50. If Matt Penny scores tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not sticking £50 in. Forget it.
No, it took you 18 months to put a £5 in the fucking pot. Let's be honest. Right. No, what was I going to say about Luco? I wouldn't sign him to a new deal. Number 10 that scored 2 goals, both in the same week.
Well, not even if we're still in League One, you wouldn't sign him to another deal.
What's he bringing to the party?
Experience.
It ain't goals. It ain't assists. So what's he bringing to the party?
I feel like he's had I personally feel like he's had a good season, Luco.
If he had half a yard more pace, I'd say yes, because I'd move him back.
He's not going to have that at 33, is he? He's not going to have that at 33.
But I'd move him back to a central
He was a curveball signing, wasn't he? He was a curveball signing in the summer. No one saw that one coming. He's had a good season, I think.
Well, has he?
Yeah.
He's contributed.
Yeah, exactly, Lewis. He's contributed, yeah.
To find a good season for a number 10.
He's had impact. I think he's got an influence behind the scenes in the dressing room.
Wait, stop.
And Lee Anderson agrees with me. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, if Lee Anderson agrees, that's the one. I think Aluko's a really good ball player. He would change the ball so well. He's so good with the ball, but his assists and his goals just haven't been there. They just haven't been there.
A player of his quality that's played in the Premier League, for Hull and all that. In League One at 33, you still envisage that he would be able to read the game quite nicely and be able to have an impact.
You would, but where's Houlihan at Cambridge? Is what? He's 39. He beats Aluko, I would imagine, without looking. I'm going to say it anyway. He probably beats Aluko. I've muted you, Rich, for the dogs. Sorry, mate. Say again. Go on.
He only plays on a Saturday, Houlihan. That's in his contract.
But yeah, he's still
no midweek games.
Then it's Morecambe. I'm not going to travel on planes.
But he's still going to be beating Aluko in every stat category there is. I would imagine assists, key passes, goals. I haven't looked. That's just my opinion on what I've seen previously when I have looked. I wouldn't be surprised. And when you say 39, 33 only plays Saturdays,
yeah,
it does bring it down to earth a little bit. Yes, Aluko's been good, but is that more of a how bad? I'd still keep Aluko next season.
Good characters, yeah, good characters.
We're going to win championship though, aren't we?
So exactly. The penny whisperer has spoken.
Definitely.
Ten more. Houlihan, 39, twice the player Aluko's at this level. But he can't keep the ball the same way Aluko can. I will say that. Right, we're done. We're dusted. We've got the scores. We've also covered some Aluko chat. Love it, Lewis. Bring it to the party.
6 minutes.
I know. We are back tomorrow with the match day ticket. Yeah. Coxie, Ben, and myself. Rich, enjoy your trip.
What time are you leaving, Rich? After you work?
8:45. I'm working at 4 in the morning, and then I'm knocking off early, and I will be leaving at 8:45.
What
so,
time
Budge, if you're in the chat, Budge, make sure you get to Greg's because I want to have a sausage roll and one of them bacon turnovers for the journey.
Yeah. What time will you get to Morecambe then? If you leave at 8:45,
I think it's about 4.25 hours.
What a trek!
They've got they win awards, don't they, for their food at Morecambe?
Did they? Pies and that?
Yeah, pies apparently.
Wow, there you go. Make sure you get yes, they said that on the way they guide. Make sure you get a pie. Right, until tomorrow, my friends.
Matt Stannard, bring the Greg sausage rolls if you can. Come on.
Safe travels.
Safe travels. Here's the free points.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better.